still got concussion, so I'm whispering because it's so noisy in my head. I just want to expose about, like I say, we are born into horror in this world. The way I was brought into the world, my mum told me straight, the only reason I kept you is to annoy your father, because he wanted you. So, and she said, because I had an abortion before you, and it turned out wrong. So I thought I'll just keep it, instead of making myself ill again. So, if you're born into a world where that's the way your mother speaks to you, it's not really going to be, you're not brought up right, are you? You're not a normal person. And then, like I say, I was taken to strange places when I was younger, and lots of strange experiments happened to us, right? But anyway, when I got away from the Jehovah's Witnesses and the court had given me all my children to keep, even, to be honest, the way the judge, because God said to me, you have to go in with the children's school reports, because I begged him, please don't take my children, I'll do anything. And he said, just go in with your children's school reports and just ask the judge first. Say to her, if this is right, what Thomas is saying, that I'm such a bad mother, would it show in my children's schooling? And then the judge said to me, yes it would. And I said, well, here I have all their children's school reports saying that they're a pleasure to teach, and that was even before I met Thomas. So, and the judge looked at Thomas like, you idiot, and said, give me the children. But I know that if I hadn't asked her that first, if I had maybe went in and just said, waved them around, it wouldn't have went down right. But because she answered her own question, it was a different story. And then straight away, like I said, they took 2 of them off me in the whole summer, and the other 2 off me as well. And the social worker said that they went away on holiday, and as soon as they came back after the summer, I got them back. So they'd rattled my insides, in other words, saying we can take them whenever we want. So it's very difficult to get them up for school in the morning, and it was at that point that I actually started going back to the Jehovah's Witnesses as a disfellowship person when I was living in Shields Road. And we didn't have much money, but I would get a black taxi, and they'd moved my congregation because they said I wasn't allowed to go to that one anymore. And I was going there, so taking the kids to school and then going to the meetings and sitting in the back. No one was allowed to talk to us. But I started feeling suicidal after I would leave the meetings. And I was saying, God, what's going on? Why am I feeling suicidal if this is your house? I was losing connection with prayer because they were rattling me all the time. And then my house flooded, and then when they then I had a house in Albert Road or some street, and I got a letter, and it said it was the police saying, this is a copy of the letter we've given to social work. First then what happened, because I was shouting at them in the street to get my 2 girls back. I was shouting at the people who had her, and I was saying, open the door, they're mine, give me them back. And they wouldn't give me them back, so someone called the police on me, and I got arrested because they said I wouldn't stop crying, because they said, we're going to take you back to your house, and if you don't stop crying, we'll arrest you. And my cries got louder because I didn't want anything else. Why do I care about fucking getting arrested? I wanted my kids. Arrest me then, you bastards, I don't give a fuck. So they arrested me, and when I was in the cells, I was laughing because I was thinking, I know that it is godly to want your children. It's godly to want to protect them. I've protected them all these years. Why would I not want to do it now? So I knew God was on my side all the way through these years. But anyway, after that I got a letter, and they kept arresting me. This is what happened, right? My mum had a cafe called E-Cafe. Her and Jamil Ahmed, he had his E-Cafe or cafe. And that right next door to it, now I lived round the corner from that cafe, and right next door to it was an internet cafe, and I went in because I wanted to apply for some award for jewellery making at the Hilton, something like this, right? So I got the paperwork, and my son was there, and he was only 4. I think everyone else was at school, and I was with my ex-sister-in-law. Cut a long story short, I had started smoking at the time, and I had a cup of cappuccino in my hand, which I got from the internet cafe. So all I was thinking about was getting home, getting the rest of the kids their dinner. I got my certificate to apply, and me and my sister-in-law were laughing, thinking we'll go to the Hilton, we'll get dressed up, and stupidly, but anyway, there was a wheelie bin outside the internet cafe, and it was a wee bit near my mum's cafe. Anyway, I wanted to let them, I'm being honest, right? I'm not going to tell you because you'll just take it the wrong way. But anyway, I had the cappuccino cup, and it was nearly finished, and this was always my practice. When the cappuccino cup, leave a wee bit in it, put the cigarette in the cappuccino so that it's out, and put it in the bin. Obviously you don't want to start a fire. So I did my usual routine, put it in the bin. Literally seconds later, police threw me up against the wall and said, "You've been accused of setting fire to a wheelie bin." When I was still there, my son was just looking at me like, what's going on? And my sister-in-law took my son away, and I said, if you are accusing me of that, why is there no fire? I said, come with me 30 steps, look at the bin, and you'll see the cigarette is doused in coffee. No, and they threw me in the van, and they kept me overnight. Now, these injustices just kept happening and happening, and it was always the same thing. I didn't have to go to court, no. No witnesses turned up for court, no. But there was still warrants out for me, because I wasn't going to court, because I wasn't getting the letters, because they were sending them to my previous address. So you see what they're doing, yeah? Then I get a letter from police saying, your application to be a social worker, they needed a record of your police record, and you've been arrested 3 times with no appearance in court. So I took it to a lawyer in Victoria Road, and I said, I did not apply to be a social worker, I can assure you. And he said, oh, is a social worker up to something? I said, well, can you keep this here for me, because everything that I have has been taken off me, and this is an important document to prove they're bullying me. And he said okay, and it was a pair of twins in Victoria Road, had a lawyer's office, McCallum or something like that, McClucky or something. Anyway, and then when I went back to see him, he said he didn't know what it was. So all these, and there's hundreds of things, like my ex-father-in-law Harry Smart saying, all my family are junkies, we're going to stick a needle in your neck. Getting phone calls like this while I'm taking the kids to school. You know, so they've rattled my brain completely. And then, just at the very end, they wouldn't feed my baby. I took her up. I couldn't even carry her up because I wasn't eating right. When I get stressed, I don't eat. So my breast milk was drying up. And she was crying. She was sucking, but she was crying like, there's fucking nothing here, you know. So I said to social work, you need to help me. Because I just lost my house illegally, right? They just boarded up my house when we were out of the shops. So I had to go and ask them. And they said, and I was dressed, the only thing I was dressed in was a nice shirt kameez. And the way they were looking at me as if, look at her, coming to us, asking us for milk for her baby, and look at that expensive piece of clothing she's wearing. And I was like, so you have to look poor to prove you've no money? I couldn't understand it. They wouldn't give me any milk for the baby. And then I went the very next day again and said, I can't even carry the baby now. Ollie's carrying Noni because my arms are so weak because I'm not eating. And there was snotters hanging out my nose. I was bubbling in front of them like, please feed my baby. And I said to them, can you give me, I need a sterilising unit. They said, we'll give you £7. Now that only covered the milk. I said, I need a sterilising unit. I'm not going to give her, she's just 3 months old. I'm not going to give her milk that's not sterile. they wouldn't give her it, and they were telling me to send Olivia and Leonie to different schools and get them there myself and not feed my baby. And we were like 20 minutes each in one direction, 20 minutes in the other for school. And they were sending me letters saying if you miss one more day of school. And we didn't have a doctor, and Ollie's skin was flaring up because she was stressed and she was scratching all night and wasn't sleeping. So when I would wake her up for school, she was screaming because she hadn't slept, because she just scratched all night. So it was just a horrible situation. But then on the reports, the reasons why they took the baby, right, they said to me, we need to give Noni a special injection. They're going to cut me off here, right? But basically they wanted to give her this special injection, and I said I want to know more about it before you give her it, because it's got to go into her hand, and they'd made a mess of it already, and she was screaming and the blood was everywhere. It was such a tiny wee hand, and they put this fucking massive needle in her hand, and the nurse didn't even do it right, and they wanted to do it again. I said not in one day. So they made that a reason to take her off me, because they said I refused her medical care. So the moral of the story is, your Rocky Horror Show is pish, and it's been exposed, and it's coming back on you 3,000-fold.